So let's start over again. My name's Sean Munger, and I am That History Guy, and we're doing Byzantine Places Part 1. This is Milvian Bridge, also known as Ponte Milvio in Rome. This is the River Tiber, and this is really where Byzantine history begins. A great battle occurred here on October 28th, 312 AD, or CE. And the background of this battle is kind of complicated. Of course, the battle was between Constantine, who later became the first Byzantine emperor, and his arch enemy, the Western Roman Emperor Maxentius. So the background of this was very complicated. Rome had been split by the Emperor Diocletian into an eastern half and a western half, and he installed two emperors in each half, so that's called the Tetrarchy. And of course, that didn't work out. So as soon as he retired, the emperors started fighting each other. Constantine was proclaimed emperor in Britain, actually, in 306. His chief rival, Maxentius, his power base was here in Rome. A series of feints occurred between the two sides, and there's a whole lot of intrigue that I don't have time to go into. But they generally avoided open warfare until the very end, and fall of 312 became the very end, certainly for Maxentius. Maxentius decides on open battle, and he's invested in Rome, and what he does is he brings his army outside of Rome because he hopes to defeat Constantine without having him enter the city of Rome. That was a political point that Maxentius wanted to make. This turned out to be a bad tactic because his army was bunched up on this bridge. Of course, it didn't look like this. In fact, the stone bridge had been destroyed in preparation for the siege, and it was at the time a pontoon bridge. Excuse me. So Maxentius and his army were piled up on this bridge. There's a huge battle, fierce fighting. We don't really know how many casualties. Casualty figures are very difficult to come by in early modern or early antiquity, Middle Ages or early modern, because the counts and the sources just aren't there really to tell us how many casualties there were. But we know that Maxentius and his army were defeated. Maxentius himself was drowned in the River Tiber, and this is, of course, as you see, the River Tiber, or Tiber as they would call it. Not a very deep river. And Constantine then became the master of Rome, basically. There's a famous, actually in 2006, believe it or not, there were some artifacts, a crown and an orb, I believe, or a scepter of some kind that were discovered by archaeologists in Rome that belonged to Maxentius, and in fact had been stashed somewhere shortly before this battle. I remember that was a big discovery when that happened. Can't say anything about Milvian Bridge without mentioning the vision of Constantine, which is, in Christian tradition, it holds that Constantine, the night before the battle, saw a vision in the sky of a cross and had this religious vision telling him to follow Christianity. Of course, he did make Christianity the state religion of the Roman Empire in 312. But the story of the vision of Constantine actually didn't arise until later, until it was not contemporaneously told with the battle, and it came about later as a result of his biographer Eusebius. Constantine did, in fact, convert to Christianity, but not until his deathbed. He died in 337 AD. I just want to show you, before we leave this, this is what Ponte Milvio, as the Romans today call it, is famous for. Today you'll see all these padlocks here. And what this is a tradition where supposedly this bridge is a big hangout for teenagers. And if you take your sweetheart to Ponte Milvio and put a lock on the post of this bridge, it's supposedly good luck for your relationship. So, in fact, these posts in recent years have collapsed because of the weight of locks that have been put on them. I visited this bridge, Ponte Milvio, in 2006, and it was quite an interesting experience. So that's Ponte Milvio and the first part of Byzantine Journeys. My name is Sean Munger, and I teach history classes online. You can go to my website, ThatHistoryGuy.com. I also have a historical podcast called Second Decade on the Recorded History Podcast Network. So that's where we are, and I hope you will pick up this series again in future videos. I hope to do some more here in the next couple of days. Thanks very much.